Let's see. Make sure everybody can hear me. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Because I have something I'd like to discuss with all of you that's as a result of what I have been hearing today about people going off on people because, hey, Felicia Fee, how you doing, hon? I've been hearing some stuff today and last night that kind of, caused me to do some thinking, and that gave me pause because people are assigning blame and assessing blame towards someone when they should not be doing so, in my opinion. And, this is my point of view. And first of all, I want to say people are saying that okay, let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Ursula, Myrtle Snow, Johnny Mack, Cake Out of Body, Patrice, Queen V. Tud. Thank you all for joining me. My concern is that, first of all, there were people saying, "Oh, Club Chat dragged Kimmie when she did this on Patreon," and that's not true. We were very supportive of her. We didn't judge her. We didn't make any determination. In fact, I think we were very empathetic and sympathetic. I, for one, did not think she was lying. It was not my place to judge. And hi, Tiger Lily. Hi, TRG32. Hey, Riri. And I did not judge her. And so, making it appear as if, we were judging her and mistreating her while she was telling her story. No, quite the opposite. We were very supportive of her. And we never called her a liar. And again, we were not there to judge her. And let's get this straight. Kimmie brought her story out voluntarily. Okay? Period. It was her story to tell. So don't blame Sean for the story she voluntarily told. There was a process. And the process was, if you wanted to discuss an issue you had had with domestic violence, you could take part in it, and you had to email, Sean, and you all had to discuss it or whatever, and then the person did it. I thought about it, but I decided against it. And so she told her story. Now, yeah, right, Tiger Lily, we were there. And, to make it seem as if Sean has done something wrong, domestic violence is discussed every day. I don't hear nobody talking about they triggered. Okay? Because they got a choice. They can watch it or not watch it. But, Ileana, whatever, how you say her name, Vazant, she don't trigger you. Oprah don't trigger you. Hi, Valerie. All these, they don't trigger you. But, Brianna still has that video up. As of this morning, it was still up. It was never deleted. Okay? And what I don't like is they're saying, oh, because he's a man, because Sean's a man. Hi, Starbell. A man cannot conduct an interview. A man cannot release an interview. That is a sexist reaction. You see that my avatar and that thumbnail? That's my youngest goddaughter. And I did do a video about her. It's in the description. And the reason I made the video, because everybody was shaming someone else. And this is Shakira. She had 4 brothers. They can't talk about it. But I remember how all these people that are so up in arms right now were shaming A Queen Stands Alone for leaving. They were shaming Joyce for leaving. Where was all this outrage then when y'all were making fun of them and shaming them? And that's what they call selective outrage. And it's what I call BS, because it obviously depends on who does it and who says it. And that's totally unfair. My goddaughter was 22 years old. And the way you all shamed A Queen Stands Alone in Joyce vlogs, it made me angry because I wish she had left. Okay? Sean was not judgmental when he was interviewing her. I think he was more surprised. Because there is something that happens with victims of domestic violence. Unfortunately, some of them stay. Some of them go back. Some of them are so desperate for love that they just say, okay, if this is my lot, I remember one lady telling me one time, I'd rather have a piece of man than no man. Really. But for everyone to come against Sean for conducting an interview and releasing it, all you triggered people out there, you would need to go to every station, every news broadcast, every documentary. You'd have to go up and down Netflix, and then you'd have to, say, you triggered me. The thing to do when you get triggered, when you realize that you're triggered, as I said in the video about Kira, let's see, she died, I think, she was killed in 1996. And he did kill himself as well. So it was a murder-suicide. It was in LA. You can look it up. And the sad part about it is that when she died, I didn't cry. I had some depression and that sort of thing. But when I heard other women discussing their problems, that was the first time I cried. That'd been over 20 years. Yes, Myrtle Snow, it was disgusting how they talked about them. But right now, there's such an outrage when somebody voluntarily brings their own story out. It's hers to tell. Hey, Etta. So as far as who brought the story out, period, Kimmie brought it out. She brought the story out. She told the story. There would be no story without Kimmie telling it. And she did so. She wasn't pressured to do it or anything else. And she knew that people were going to see it on other platforms because people were always getting the link for Sean's Patreon. Always getting the link. So she decided she wanted to tell her story. And I can't say if it was true or not. I wasn't there. Now, you want to know my opinion? I think she may have left some things out. That's my opinion. But still, it's her story to tell. If she wants to leave things out, then she can leave things out. Because when you start judging her, you don't know what her story is. And people are judging her, but they're judging Sean more harshly for releasing the story. The story might help someone. They might say, oh my, how could she do that? If somebody does it to them, That's a red flag. Oh, I remember hearing something like this. But when you get triggered, the thing to do is go get you some counseling. Go talk to somebody and understand what's triggering you and get well within yourself. Don't rely on YouTube or anybody else to be responsible for what triggers you. That's totally unfair. And as far as Sean letting it out on YouTube, no. Brianna told the story on YouTube. Okay? And without permission, by the way. You know, when I heard Patrice's story and the Queen Stands Alone story and Joyce's story, you know, what it did for me was that I was empathetic. Your empathy should be triggered toward the person. But as far as blaming Sean for something, that is damn ridiculous. You know, like I said, go get in touch with Oprah. Tell her you that she's triggering you. What you think Oprah gonna tell you? What do y'all think Oprah would tell somebody that? Or the Vincent lady? You know, they got a dial on the channel that you can change it. You don't have to watch it. Right, Tiger Lily? I agree. You know, I agree with you because, you know, she was basically going through something, reliving something. We don't know. She may have blocked out a lot of stuff. You know, when you're traumatized, you don't, you know, we can't judge her. But don't judge the person who released the interview. When she consented to it, she consented to it being released. Period. And I think that the person that everyone should be upset with is Brianna for coming back, not only telling the story, but calling her a liar. None of us did that. And you know what else? None of us ever discussed it at all. Not even amongst ourselves. We did not discuss it. Just like when Queen messaged, we didn't discuss that. So when she told her story, you know, we embraced her, virtually embraced her. You know, and yeah, right, Ursula. How you gonna be triggered if you ain't watched something? First of all, how's that gonna trigger you? That's like me saying, you know, I got bit by a dog, and somebody told me about a video that somebody got bit by a dog. I didn't see the dog people get bit by a dog, so how am I gonna get triggered? You know, that's absurd. And like I said, I think that people need to, if they're sincere about how they feel about this, then they need to start apologizing to A Queen Stands Alone. They literally ran her off. They ridiculed her because she left an abusive situation. Okay? Where were y'all then? Same thing with Joyce. And you all dove into her relationship like vultures. And I'm talking about Joyce, like vultures, and drug her all over the streets because she left. Where was your outrage? You were too busy dragging and making fun of her, of both of them, to not even show a little bit of empathy and concern. So miss me with all of this stuff about Sean. He put it out. It was malicious. It was, you know what? It was his to put out. But she did it voluntarily. Didn't nobody dig up anything on her or anything like that. And she knows that as well. And I hear she says, oh, I don't know how he could do that. Well, How come Brianna apologized to you? Why aren't you saying, I don't know how Brianna could do that? I don't think she's heard it either. But she straight out called her a liar. Now, Shakira, my youngest goddaughter in the avatar, she was only 22 years old. Okay? And she left behind 2 children. One was 3 and one was 6. Okay? And we have, as her family and me and everyone, we've never gotten over it. Never. You know, we've all had, some of us have lost a child. Where's your outrage when, like Kate Got a Body says right here, where's your outrage, about them talking about his deceased son? You see, some of you people on here, your biases are so clear. Okay? It's convenient. If you don't rock with the person, then, it don't matter. But humanity should tell you to have the same feeling about everyone, the same empathy and concern about everyone, and not be so quick to blame someone without looking at the details and without knowing the details. And I hope that some of you who hear this will grow up and learn how to be objective, whether you believe somebody or not. It's still their story to tell. And hope and pray that you are never in the situation where you even have to take the first lick. Maybe that'll help somebody see that coming. Maybe it'll help somebody who's in a relationship. Okay? And they will say, I see this. Even Kwani said, how are you going to let somebody hit you and go back? But what she failed to understand, there is some kind of psychological impact. And there was a lady back in I think the 80s, and she stayed with a man for 10 years, and he beat her unmercifully. When you looked at the picture of her and before and after, you would not recognize her. Her nose no longer had a shape. Her lips no longer had a shape. But she never left. She never left. They're still trying to figure out why some women don't leave. They're still trying to understand that. So, again, if somebody makes a video voluntarily, okay, let's remember who brought the story out, period. It was Kimmie. It was, Sean didn't just come out and say, Kimmie told me this and Kimmie told me that. He did an interview. And he allowed her to tell it the way she wanted to tell it. And he asked questions. And what people may have seen was his surprise that someone will go back to that. Now, my goddaughter, my youngest goddaughter, Shakira, when she was having those fights, she would, leave, and then she'd get mad and they get back together. And I had a talk with her. I said, why are you staying? And, but when she did try to leave, because he was in the drug world, she wanted out of that. She wanted to get her life in order, and it wasn't going to happen with him. He didn't want to let her go. So he killed her, shot her in the head. And they said that she fought hard, a lot of defensive bruises on her hands and that sort of thing. And I wish there had been some signs, some red flags, some stories out there that she could have heard about, and she would have left, and she'd still be alive. But we can't judge anything about her story Like I said, she could have blocked stuff out. We don't know. But all this fake, outrage, that, like I said, missed me with that because somebody released the story. I don't hear anybody saying, well, why did Kimmie go for the interview? Why did she consent to the interview? See how stupid that sounds? She wanted it. And we gave her the virtual love and embrace that she needed, and we didn't judge her. Even when she moved on and she was no longer affiliated with Sean anymore, we still didn't drag her about that. We never discussed it. Hey, my 2 cents. Yeah, you can't form an opinion about something like that. You have to allow people to tell their story. You can come to your own conclusions, but don't drag the person for telling the story. And please don't drag the person that gave her a platform upon which she could tell her story. She wanted that. But nobody forced it. Nobody forced it. And to make it seem like she was taken advantage of is silly. So, that's kind of what I had to say about it, what I think about it. And I'm not about to sit back and let people drag other people and drag Sean and us because we listened and say, oh, we dragged her. No, we did not drag her. And then there's people like Miss Leo, says my 2 cents correct. And I haven't even gone back to listen and didn't even remember what she said. I was indifferent. Nobody went out with this is hot news or whatever. Right, Etta, selective outrage. And, yeah, where was the out here kind of, okay, got about, let me put this on here. It says, okay, got about, it says, the thing that's so trifling about Jane is Ness made a video about her domestic violence story and creepy used it against her. Where was the outrage? Exactly. It's only like if Sean does it. Sean has to have boundaries, that nobody else has to have. And that is totally unfair. And the things that she said were shocking. But you know what? Kira's story is even more shocking. She's no longer here. And there are many other women who are not here. But I would like for you all to remember, because I don't even see her on here anymore. A queen stands alone. Okay? And the way you all did that woman because she left an abusive situation, get back with that. Okay? Go sit down. And the way you did Joyce, go sit down. Because whatever you have to say, when people realize that you've done this to other women, you don't care about women. You make this about sides. Whose side are you on? Are you on that side? I don't want to see any woman or man be abused. I don't care whose side they are on or what group they're in or whatever. Because at some point, humanity is supposed to kick in. And I don't see that with these people that are out there trying to assign blame to somebody. There needs to be some element of humanity. Okay? And that's what it's about, being a human being. And it's not about sides at that point. If you care about what happens to women, then you need to care about what happens to all women, not just based upon whoever it was that talked about the story. And as far as somebody stealing the story and then coming telling about it and then ridiculing and disparaging the victim, that's who y'all should be upset with. So, does anybody want to come up here and say something? If not, I'm going to end this. But I wanted to come up here and I wanted to share Kira's story again, and because we really need to know. Hey, Leo, how you doing, hon? Let's see. Am I doing this right now? And because some of us do have something to say, and if you want to, you can click on the link. But you can only click on the link if you're in this chat and I know who you are, because I know that people be playing little games on here on this StreamYard thing. But I want to see what you said. What did you say? Yeah, Leo was right. And let's see what I'm seeing. In order to practice humanity, you have to have a functional brain, which is something, okay, Patrice, let's see, what did you say, Ursula? Yeah. And they do stalk the Patreon and they keep stealing from it. But this was something that should not have been stolen. And she should be called out for doing that and then repeating it and then calling Kimmie a liar. I'm not in a position to say she's a liar or not. And I think you all know me well enough. I really do try to look at things objectively. But, maybe there were some inconsistencies. When you go get knocked out cold, you may not even remember a whole lot of stuff. Okay? There's that element too. Some people say, well, maybe she left out what she did. It doesn't matter. If she left something out, it was still her story the way she remembered it. And just back off of that. So anyway, everyone, I'm going to end this. I just wanted to come in here and share this with you. And that's why I put my darling Shakira's photo on here, because, I could say, well, I'm triggered right now. But, today is also the birth date of my youngest son who passed away. But I'm learning that those people who love me, those deceased persons like Shakira, like my son, they would not want me mourning and being triggered all the time. I can't go back and change what happened to her, but I can remember all the love that I gave her. And I think that's what, a lot of us who have really gone through some serious stuff that's a result of domestic violence have had to learn how to do. There's no other way to reconcile it. Kimmie's still alive. A Queen Stands Alone is still alive. Joyce Vlogs is still alive. Okay? And give them credit for having the courage to leave, because guess what? That's rare. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I hope you think about what I said. I hope whoever's listening to it think about what I said. And always remember, when someone's, leaves because of domestic violence, remember this beautiful face here of this beautiful young woman with her whole life ahead of her. She's gone. She's gone, and others are gone in this world as well. So leave people alone when they tell their story. If you see inconsistencies, that's not for you to judge. They're talking to you because they need something from you. And you can give them empathy, you can give them love, you can give them a listening ear. And that's what we gave to Kimmie. And I don't regret that one bit, and I'm still not going to judge her. I'm still not going to say, oh, she's lying. I'm still not going to say, oh, well, she lied because this don't match up with that. Thank you, Leo. And anyone who's suffering from domestic violence, because a lot of people are, and they don't say anything because they're ashamed. Leo just put the number in the chat. You call them and talk to them and get out of there and leave. Because anybody who does not respect you, your body, you know, your physical person, that's not love. So I want everyone to have a very good night, and just remember some of what I said. Good night, everyone.